What's up, Tutorinos? And welcome back to the Game Addicts Podcast, a show where we talk about the modern and retro video games that we play and collect. And also the show where I deep dive down into the best games or my favorite games, characters, stories, and lore. Welcome to the show, episode 149, right here on the Game Addicts Podcast. I am this podcast player, Brando, and I hope this podcast finds each and every one of you well. I've tried to say that over the course of the years I've been doing this show. I hope this podcast finds you guys well. But I mean it more than ever. I mean, things have just gotten so surreal. Nothing like what is going on right now in the world. That is the fire alarm. I assume someone was cooking something. Happens when I cook bacon all the time. So, the house isn't burning down. No, guys, the world is so surreal right now. I've never seen anything like this happen in my lifetime. Wow. I hope you know all you guys are safe and healthy. And if you guys went out like I did, and this weekend was supposed to be our grocery trip, our regular grocery meal thing, and everything is being picked apart, man. I'm talking like essentials. I mean, stuff for kids, formula, diapers. Wipes were gone, man. Thankfully, we do cloth diapers and we do cloth wipes as well. We also have disposable stuff for when we're out and about, which we're not going to be, thanks to limiting social interaction. And I'm serious. A lot of people I know aren't taking the social interacting thing seriously, and I think that you should. I think everybody should. I think. Number one, it doesn't paying me much to stay home and play video games. I mean, come on. Look at all that look over here and all that stuff over there that you can't see. My two TVs, all my systems. I've got a whole game room back here that I can easily, come back and be a recluse. So, staying at home isn't going to hurt me much. I can play some games. I can spend time with my family. But, am I worried about myself getting sick? Not so much. I'm aware, and I'm taking precautions, and I don't want to spend the episode talking about this, but I have to because it's everywhere, and it's affecting everything, and so many people unfortunately have died from this thing, but hopefully by shutting down we can limit exposure, limit the spread, and also limit the overcrowding of the hospitals. That is the thing that I think people need to take into account when you get frustrated because they shut down your favorite restaurant, bar. Don't go out, like seriously. So many restaurants and food chains, KFC and Moe's, Moe's burritos, offering free delivery. If you order, I think the Moe's, it was like $10 order at KFC. I don't think there was one. I think there was just a slight fee if you ordered under $10 or under $12. It's like, hey, if you're craving the Colonel, you can still order the Colonel and get it delivered via Grubhub or whatever. So it's still going to be a thing, but also just be safe. Limit your interaction with people. And hopefully we can get through this. I just saw something today that I don't know if it was experts or if it was just our administration here in the States saying that they expect to be dealing with this through July and August, and that is pretty much the summer. So 2020 is the year of staying indoors. And then of course, I mean, we've been needing to replace our furnace and AC. We were going to do that like literally within like a week or so here. But when I went out, it picked up my normal groceries, I went out to pick up, we do click list pickup for Kroger. And they have stuff like that, I think, for Walmart. I'm not sure if Meijer has it yet, but some grocery stores have that. And it saves us a bunch of money because we're not, impulse buying a bunch of stuff. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Ooh, let's do this. And we can make a meal with this. And it's not something that we planned on. So it's cut down on that. But quite literally, I was afraid that a lot of stuff that we were going to want to get was going to be gone. And some stuff was, for sure, when she did the order. So I knew when I was going to be out and I saw stuff still there. This was on Friday evening. I was like, all right, I'm hitting Sam's Club and I'm hitting Walmart. And Sam's Club was busy. Meat department was barren. I bought a pork tenderloin, a nice big long pork tenderloin, cut it into half. We're going to do pork tacos. And then the other ones I chopped, I sliced it into chops. So we got pork chops. And then there was enough there for she does like this pork rosemary garlic roast with it in the oven. It's awesome. Sam's was busy. Walmart was a madhouse. Ramen was gone. Paper goods were gone. I found a lot of ground beef there, for that time. Chicken was gone. So I went ahead and I stocked up on stuff I knew we were going to eat. I stocked up on chicken nuggets, right? The kid loves chicken nuggets. I stocked up on s'mores Pop-Tarts. Like that's his favorite. He loves s'mores Pop-Tarts. So I stocked up on those when I saw him. Milk and eggs. They had milk and eggs. I'm like, I'm getting one of each. Even though we already had some milk, we already had some eggs. Hey, you know what? Why not, right? Pick up some. Now, here's the thing. Will there be more stuff coming? Yes, there will be. Calm down. We are not on complete lockdown yet. Keyword yet. It seems this stuff changes. This time literally last week, I was thinking about going back to work. I was on vacation, and it was like, man, this is getting a little crazy. And then literally by the end of the week, we were like panic mode. When I was at Sam's, there was this guy loading up a chest freezer right next to my car while I was loading my stuff up. And it was crazy out, madhouse, people going nuts. It literally felt like what you would expect the beginning of The Walking Dead would be like, while Rick is in a coma, hanging out. And I'm not talking like the inner city LA with Fear the Walking Dead. Like if they had like a more heads up, hey, this thing's happening, go out and stock up on some stuff. And dude looked at me and he's like, hey man, are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? And I said, man, I'm gonna be like Rick Grimes up in this mother, and he goes, I'm trying not to be scared, but they're just pumping this out, all over the news and stuff. And it's like, I gotta be ready, because what happens if we can't leave the house? I know in Italy, they complete lockdown, but that's why we're doing this, guys. For people who are getting angry, and trust me, I understand completely what it's like to be without a job. Right now, a lot of these places are not going to be able to pay their employees. Small businesses are going to get hurt, and this is up to the government to try and help fix that. I mean, we've got to alleviate, but that's no reason to put yourself in harm's way. No, I mean, you may not get sick. Your kids may not get sick, but they might. But I have a 90-year-old grandmother. And this coming weekend was supposed to be like her birthday thing, and I'm not going. I want to see her, but I mean, I'm not even sure we can even get her out of the nursing home. Because they number one, last time I talked to my mom, which was Friday, when I was on my way home from the madhouse, or maybe it was Thursday, I can't remember, but I told her, I said, man, I don't know, I'm thinking about not coming. I'm thinking about maybe we should stay put. It's not where I'm at. The cases are not crazy, but by then, who knows? Hopefully we can contain it, and by doing what I'm doing, I'm not. What if I have it, and I don't even know it? What if I just have like a mild cough and some sniffles, and that's all I get from it, because my immune system kicks ass. It probably doesn't, but I mean, what happens? Or what if I were to get worse afterwards and I didn't know, and now I've given it to my 90-year-old grandmother who could be, killed from it, and that's just not for me, man. We're gonna stay home. We didn't go to a wedding this weekend. Just there's no need. I mean, I hate missing out and not seeing people, not seeing family, but I didn't really feel like taking my kids out of state, especially with everything kind of going on. It's like, hey, let's just chill out. I've got a 5-month-old, man. What if he gets it? What if it's bad with him? And then we got to worry about him. It's a crazy time in the world, and I hope all you guys stay healthy. And during this time, now that I've spent 10 minutes talking about doom and gloom, I kind of want to do an episode. I've never wanted to talk about current events so much that it overtook the show, but I feel like I had to for the first little bit, just to touch base. I'm still good. My family's good. Everybody that I know is still good. And I hope all you guys are well. If you guys aren't, all of our positive energy going towards you guys. Even positive energy, even if you guys aren't sick, just positive energy. Let's just give that positive energy out over the wavelengths and everything. And the great thing about, doing the show is that I can interact with you guys and in a way that doesn't, hey, I'm sitting here at my gamer and playing games, or talking about games, to the very least, which I do want to get back to playing games, on the streams. I haven't streamed in a bit, man. And that's on me. That's kind of been my own thing. It's been I'm not sure if it's a confidence thing. Sometimes I get in a mode where I'm really confident and I can sit here and do this and talk. Same thing with the podcast. That's why the podcast hasn't really had a dedicated release schedule. It's difficult for me sometimes alone to stay confident, and that I can sit back here and talk and, connect with you guys. And sometimes that's difficult to do. I get in a mode where I don't want to do anything. I'm not sure if that's like slight depression or what, but it's just a mode where I feel like you just kind of sit there and you're just like, I don't know if I have I'm not sure if I don't have the energy for it, or if I just don't have the confidence, but whatever it is, I did want to do this episode because there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on in the world. We just got the full specs revealed for the Xbox Series X. I watched Digital Foundry kind of take it apart a little bit. Got to see the insides. We got to see their little memory expansion, that SSD memory expansion. Apparently, the Series X games, it's going to come with I'm not sure if it's a terabyte or like SSD, but that's how you launch your games, and then you're going to have another terabyte hard drive where you just store your games. I do assume the older, backwards compatible stuff will be able to be launched from that drive, but I'm not 100% certain. I think you will be able to. I would think you would, because they don't require as much as the newer hardware would. But it looks pretty cool. It looks definitely weird standing up next to the Xbox One X. And go ahead and go through the specs here that have been put out. So we already know that it's got 12 teraflops of computing power that will enable the system for true 4K gaming and video with up to 120 frames per second. Yeah. The console will also have 1 terabyte of custom SSD, and will be ready for 8K gaming when the developers finally make the games for that resolution. I'd probably think that it won't run that at the 120. We'll be lucky if we get 8K at 30. However, this thing is a pretty big beast. So the console uses a custom AMD Zen 2 CPU with 8 cores and a custom AMD RDNA2 GPU and will include 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, along with a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD storage drive. Gamers can also expand the storage through the expansion cards, like I said before. The changes to the memory allows for new quick resume feature that allows players to cycle between saved games. So does that multiple games, or what is that? You know, if I'm playing Halo, the new Halo, and then I want to switch to the new Forza like that, is it just going to be like boom, boom, you know, switch me over? Or is it just the fact that it's going to be able to just like, you know, pick up and go? I will say I'm very impressed with the Xbox One X and its ability to pick up right where I left off, because I've been playing through the original Red Dead Redemption. I played through RDR2 over the holiday season just to, you know, test out the new Xbox One X, or my new Xbox One X, and you know, and its visuals. And I haven't played the story for the original in a long time, but almost probably about like 10 years since it came out. And I just wanted to kind of play through it and see how far, you know, they had thought of what, you know, just experience that, you know, again, going from the prequel to now the original. And I believe I played it the last time I played the game, wasn't this past Thursday, but the Thursday before. So it was like earlier on in March. Well, I fired it up yesterday. First time in like a week and 3 days or whatever. And there was, okay, launch RDR, you know, and I launched it and it was right where I was. Isn't that nuts? Boom, boom. I'm back in the game. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, guys, go check out the YouTube channel for Digital Foundry. They have a hands-on with the Series X impressions, and you know, they get to take it apart and you get to see the insides of it. And they also get to show off that little expandable memory, for which Xbox has teamed up with Seagate to do that. So pretty interesting to see all of that. And man, the news that has been coming out, like from the gaming world, like E3 is canceled. I was gonna make an episode late last week about E3 is canceled, you know, like, and then literally the next day or 2 days later, everything else is canceled. NBA canceled, Major League Baseball canceled, new XFL, NHL. Every single sport, the concerts, everything canceled. Holy cannoli, everybody. Cons are canceled across the board. And now a lot of states are limiting social gatherings to 50 people. I've heard about churches encouraging the people to still come to church. And I heard that this was on Sunday. This was a church up in the northwestern part of my state, up near Chicago, you know. And they were still like, there's like 200 cars at this church. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, stay home. You stay home. A lot of these churches are offering like live streaming stuff, so that's cool. We live in a digital age where we can easily access and live stream, unlike what I'm not doing now. But I mentioned, well, hell, I don't even think I mentioned on this show proper. I have played the FF7 demo, the remake demo. The reason why I'm confused is because I'm doing something for 150, and I've talked about it with some other people. So there's that. However, I played it, and it's amazing. I've already watched it before. But there's another demo coming out, and it's here just in a couple of days. It's coming out on March 19th. It'll be available on the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam, and that is the Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, or just Resident Evil 3, as it's, they're dropping the Nemesis code name. It's just Resident Evil 3, the remake of the old game, and you're going to be able to see the new take on Raccoon City. I assume this is going to be some of the demo that people have already played. So I'm excited to try it out. I've heard a lot of things, people who have had hands-on with it. Now, according to this article, it says that, you know, according to Capcom, players won't be able to just charge through firing off shots at Raccoon City's T-Virus experiments. Unfortunately, those that expend too much ammunition or use too many healing items early can always try again. The demo can be played through a limited number of times, so it won't be like the one-shot for Resident Evil 2, where you only got to play it for like however, like was it like 30-minute demo is all we got, and so. Yeah, we are going to get to play that. Also, they announced the open beta for Resident Evil Resistance begins on March 27th. It's weird to have that demo or that beta is coming out like literally like a week before the game. That's kind of weird. But be it as it may, yeah, looking forward to that demo, and I'll be talking about it here on the next episode of the show. And I'm looking forward to playing that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to play that on stream. I am committed still to playing FF7 Remake, my entire playthrough on stream and put up on the YouTube channel. So that's still going to happen. Speaking of Steam, I spoke of Steam. Apparently, just the other day, I think it was Saturday, Steam hit a record 20 million players logged in, while 6.4 million were playing a game concurrently. That's still a crazy amount of people playing games. Of course, Xbox Live went down on Sunday, and that's like, we can't have that. You know, I actually tweeted out, this was awesome because I tweeted this out yesterday when I saw Xbox Live was down, and I said, hey, and I tagged Phil Spencer and Major Nelson and Xbox, whatever, saying, hey guys, since we're shutting down, people are encouraged to stay home. How cool would it be to offer a free 2-week trial of Game Pass Ultimate for people with computers and Xboxes? After seeing how many people were logged into Steam, it's like, hey, it's 2-week trial. I mean, everybody's gotten at least a 2-week trial of the damn thing before. You can do it, but I did see that somebody much bigger than me, Gary Whitta. He said, Phil, how about making Games Pass free for the next couple of months? And I'm like, months? See, I was just shooting for a couple weeks. But hey, Gary Whitta, he's got my vote. I retweeted that, was like all about that. So if that happens, let's give old Gary Whitta a pat on the back. Man. The other bit of news, I found this on Twitter. Found this on the great wide Twitter world, and I don't know if it's true. Take this with a huge grain of salt. But this was broken by jackofallcontrollers.com, or at least they reported on it. That's where I saw it. Apparently, Sony is in talks to purchase IP from Konami. And that IP is Castlevania, Silent Hills, and Metal Gear. Very interesting development. I had heard, I believe it was on Saturday, that Sony was working on, hey, that PT demo that we released got a lot of headway, got a lot of people talking about that. And it'd be a pretty cool VR experience too, especially with after that we ended up getting like RE7, right, Resident Evil 7, and it had a VR experience. So I heard about that they're reaching out to Konami to try and make that happen, and that maybe they were also trying to mend the fences with Kojima. And they wanted Kojima to kind of head the new project for Silent Hills. I'm like, well, that's cool, Sony playing Peacemaker. Okay, cool. But, because we talked about it here on the show when Kojima and Konami split, Heck, I'm not even sure this show was really, was this show around when it happened? I don't think it was. I think it was like a year before the show. I think I was talking about on like the other podcast I was doing, Journey to Comics. I knew I talked about it on some podcasts. I've done a lot of podcasts, guys. Sorry. At least almost like 400 podcasts by this point. However, now this news, Sony's looking to buy the IP. That's a lot of money. Now Sony just threw a bunch of money, a couple $100 million, and bought the entire development team of Insomniac Games. Of course, Insomniac, Ratchet and Clank, and They did Sunset Overdrive. They did the new Spider-Man game for PlayStation. So now they own Insomniac. Insomniac's part of the team. There's also rumors that, Sony could be looking to purchase Kojima Productions. And with Kojima Productions, they could saddle in with that, the IP from Konami, and essentially own everything every big thing that Konami has done. Interesting. But this is rumor. It's all conjecture. We don't want to jump off the handle and think that this is going to happen. I'm excited for it to happen, though. So apparently, Castlevania will receive a full-on reboot at Japan Studio in the style of Bloodborne, which everybody kind of says was a Castlevania type game anyway, and Lords of Shadow. Maybe like a combination between the two, a little bit more of an action style or arcade style than a true Bloodborne or a Souls type. Just to tell you how much Sony cares, unlike Konami, the Castlevania Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood PS2 ports were done by Sony Interactive Entertainment's own studios. I did not know that. I'm reading that part for the first time. Holy crap. I mean, I've heard that Konami wants to be out of the game, and they just want to do their pachinko machines and make money. They don't care. That tells me how much they don't care. Wow. That should tell you that they are passionate enough to try and get the IP. So this was a 4chan post. This all originated in a 4chan post. An apparent employee from Konami back in January on 4chan says that Sony wants to buy Silent Hill, Castlevania, Metal Gear from Konami and have Kojima involved with both Metal Gear and Silent Hill, just like, he was going to be involved with Silent Hill. So this person says, now, why are we reporting on a 4chan post? And since information is lining up with information heard from both Rely on Horror and later verified on our end from our own sources, this news dump seems to be actually valid. With the anticipation on the word in this post-PS5 reveal world, we anticipate hearing word from this in a post-PS5 reveal. So after they reveal PS5, they would reveal, hey, we got this IP. It's going to be exclusive to PS5, blah, 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 blah. Now, it makes total sense that Sony's trying to buckle up because Microsoft is doing the same thing. Microsoft trying to buy some devs. They have done so. They got Obsidian and some other teams, and they're trying to boost their own collective brand of their own exclusives going out there. Sony wants to do the exact same thing. That's why the rumors of them buying Kojima Productions wasn't that wild to me. It's like, well, they've already just worked on them with Death Stranding. It went well for them. And I can, Kojima bought his own, or made his own studio. He could be just a Sony operated studio, and Sony would pretty much gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted with Death Stranding, and it did well enough. So there you go. But by acquiring these IP, these classic IP, Metal Gear, Konami, Castlevania, Silent Hill, especially Castlevania going all the way back to the original NES. Having that in your back pocket saying Sony has this property. Now, we own this. This is Sony. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. And then, by acquiring these things, whether or not you have Kojima head up a new Metal Gear project, or since he's in the pocket, you can have him just be involved and have another younger, new studio get behind a new Metal Gear game. And you can have Kojima involved with more of the story. But the thing with Kojima is, from what I understand and everything that I've seen from all of his releases, he's always says he wants to pass on that torch. He wants to let other people kind of, you do the thing and, I'll be over here cheering you on. He's a very hands-on kind of guy, and it's hard to please. And that's why he's never backed away from the Metal Gear project until he left Konami entirely, because it's like, I have these new Metal Gear games are going to get made. I'm going to make them because nobody else can match up to what I want them to be anyway. So time will tell, because these consoles are probably going to get delayed with this pandemic all across the world going on. Things getting delayed, canceled, live events and all that kind of stuff. But also, I imagine this stuff, here it is, putting vibes out there. Here in the next few weeks, we are getting Resident Evil 3. We're getting Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And we just got Animal Crossing, right? But then, at the end of May, we're getting Last of Us Part 2. I hope these games aren't pushed back because of this stuff. I'm not saying that, games getting delayed isn't a bad thing, but, if I'm going to be stuck at home, man, I want to be playing these new games, man. You know what I mean? But, I've heard about this whole, Naughty Dog crunch, and it came out. It reminds me a lot of when Red Dead came out. We did an episode about the crunch and on the industry, and with Red Dead, with 100-hour work weeks. Excuse me, sorry. I tell you what, that's a lot, sure, no question. And I also don't think it's right. The one reason why I decided not to spend a lot of time talking about it is because it's kind of like that they need to stop, and that's my opinion. Is you can't be forcing people. These release dates need to get met, and this stuff's hard. Game development is so hard to do that when it comes down to it, there is crunch, and there's crunch across the board. We need to have a better game development cycle that is less stressful on the people. That's it. That's all I got. Not if Naughty Dog, Rockstar, anybody else is doing this, just stop. We need to stop. We need to trust me. And I know I speak for myself, and I could probably speak for a lot of other gamers out there. If this lack of crunch means we have to wait another 6 months to get a game, I can wait. As long as these people can work healthy and have time with their families, I'm cool with that. I'm fine. My world's not ending. I've got games. I got games to play. But it's also a very competitive market, trying to put out a product that's going to sell well. We're not in that world. We say it needs to end and we need to have a better system. They might not even disagree with us. Yes, it does need to end. But there also might not be a lot that they can do about it because of this vicious cycle that they are already currently in with the way the way that the industry cycles. Because we say, oh, well, that's not going to stop any, it being delayed 6 months, we'll still buy it. Yes, we will. But what about the casual people? What if that, it needs to release at a time that's not, there's a whole science behind that stuff, It's got to release at a certain time in a window in order for it to do well. And if just look at, there was a really good game, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 came out at a time where I think you had Call of Duty, you had Battlefield, you had, there's another one around the time, Destiny or something. All these shooters around the same time, or maybe it was I think it was Destiny. Destiny 2 or something. All these games came out right around the same time, and Titanfall 2 just got forgotten about because there was just too much going on. And how much BS would it be if Respawn, making that game, had to hit a certain crunch level to make sure that they hit the holiday season just to have their game fly under the radar because of all these other shooters, when maybe if they would have waited to release it around January after all this hubbub had died down, that the game might have sold better. It is what it is, guys. I hope you guys are all doing well. This is going to be kind of a shorter episode of the show. I'm excited for some anticipation for some new console news, but we're probably not going to get them this year. I'll be honest with you. They're probably going to launch early next year. Once all this stuff is kind of blown over, to rush them out now, if we're still dealing with this into the summer, like they say, we could still be economically reeling from it, because the economy right now it's in the dirt. The Federal Reserve lowered interest rates to 0%. which is insane. They haven't done that since the economic crash of like '08, right? And times are going to get tough for a lot of people, maybe even myself included. But for as long as I can, I'm going to be right here with you guys about every week, every other week, doing a show. I'm going to try and get myself confident enough to hammer down an exact day that I'm going to release. That way, you know, you guys know when I'm coming. But hope you guys stay healthy and hope you guys are well. The next episode is 150, and I got some cool stuff planned for that. Going to have some friends joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I will try to live stream it. Maybe. We will see. I would like to. However, just how I'm going to be doing it how I'm going to be doing the whole setup with some other people. So I need to get the whole thing set up and see if it's going to work the way I want it to work. If not, the video will be available on YouTube as always, just like the podcast is available on podcast services all around the world. We're Apple, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, iTunes, Google, all those stuff, all those places. Search us on your favorite podcast service. If Game Addicts Podcast is not there, let me know. You can reach out on social media, Game Addicts Play, right down there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Game Addicts Play. You can also hit us up on the email if you want to, at GameAddictsPodcast@gmail.com. But the YouTube channel is your one-stop shop. You get the video podcast, you get some gameplay stuff from me, and all that kind of stuff. Some extra stuff every once in a while, if in fact that stuff gets done. I remember me and Mike did an episode of Game Addicts Eat, which that was the only episode that we ever did because we didn't get around to doing it anymore, where we tried the Impossible Burger. And we just tried it. The Impossible Burger was, I think it was at TGI Fridays. They had like an Impossible, the Beyond Burger. It was Beyond, not Impossible. Same idea though, right? The meatless burger, and it was freaking awesome. And I haven't been back since to TGI Fridays, and I probably won't be back for a while with everything going on. Guys, stay healthy out there. Once again, I know I'm beating it in like a drum, but please, guys, be well. Hope you guys stay safe. I'm Brando, and I'll see you next time, guys. Game on.